Yo, what is good? It is Threadguy, and the following is an interview with Ben Pasternak, the founder and CEO of Believe. Believe is pioneering what we are calling internet capital markets, and they're the hottest project in crypto right now. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoy. Mr. Ben Pasternak, can you hear me?
Yes, how you doing?
What's up, dude? Thanks for coming on, man. How are you doing?
Myself has been lost, so I'm not sure, but excited to chat.
You look good, man. It's been a crazy couple weeks. Also, thank you for coming on the stream. I think this is officially my first interview since the return, so I'm excited. The people are excited. How are you, dude? Talk to me. Like, how have the last couple weeks been? I know it's been nuts. Like, how are you feeling? Where is your head at? Like, talk to me.
Yeah. I've been building stuff for a long time, so this isn't my first rodeo in terms of dealing with craziness and mania. I'd say, with clout, like I had a taste of this prior, but this is definitely to a new scale. So lots of putting out fires, lots of late nights. I feel really excited about where things are. Lots of work ahead. Tired a bit, but good.
I almost forgot about the clout thing, which did get some traction early on. Like, what do you think went wrong with clout that you did right with Launchcoin?
Yeah, well, maybe kind of zooming out a bit. Like, I did not really get into crypto till launching clout. Like, I had some prior experience, which was that my first entrance to crypto was that people were telling me about the dog with hat meme coin, and I had never purchased a meme coin. Mm-hmm. I tried to buy it, through Coinbase, and kind of ended up in a whole, messy situation. So I thought that, that it makes sense that there's like a Robinhood for meme coins, like a really easy way to buy them. There's probably much more demand for them than is being purchased, just because it's really hard to buy them. And that led me to thinking about building essentially that product. But instead I was introed to the Moonshot team, and that ended up being the first investor in that company. So that was kind of my initial, crypto exposure. And then from there, learned a ton about meme coins. And to me, despite all the kind of negative reputation and all the craziness of it, which is definitely there, it's a really beautiful technology, and it's very pure. It's very fast. It's very now in the moment. So I was really energetically attracted to it. And to me, what I thought was essentially how can you introduce a third party? So you have the traders, the person buying, the person selling. How could there be this third entity? And that's what brought me to clout, which was I think it's kind of everyone's kind of explored this idea to some degree. But yeah, if anyone could IPO themselves as a trader, you bet on people you believe in. And that's what we built. I think we built it in a really cool way that obviously resonated, very quickly. It kind of grew super quickly. I think the thing that has gone right with Believe versus clout is, I'd say with clout we had literally no idea what we were doing. The dollar Pasternak coin, which is Launchcoin today, was the first coin we ever launched. And when clout actually went viral, we didn't even have the code to launch a coin. We hadn't gotten that far. So that was a big thing. And then I also think that, not to dunk on Radium, but working with Meteora, which we're doing in the case of Believe versus with clout, we're working with Radium. Meteora has been a much smoother experience. And so I think that's, in short, we have learned a lot since then.
It wasn't a Radium dunk until you said not to dunk on Radium.
Yeah, oops, sorry. All love to those contributing to the space.
That's awesome. And thank you for the background. Also, Moonshot is also the only good angel check I've ever written in crypto. So shout out to the Moonshot guys. But I've sort of been tapped out from the content. So I'm almost coming at this from the trader perspective, where I've spent basically the last 2 months or whatnot trading every single coin on Believe. And I think the positive side of it is that you obviously delivered a product where there's some level of demand for it, right? Where it goes from here, what it looks like in 6 months is more unclear. But the initial 0 to 1 takeoff on Launchcoin, there was obviously demand. There was demand for me, a lot of my friends. I've had a lot of fun trading these coins. I guess from a high level, there's no one's take I want to get on this more. No one I want to hear this from more from you than you is how do you view what these coins are? I think this is a big conversation that people have been having on Twitter. It's like, is it like equity? Is it a meme coin? Like, what even is ICOs? Like, is this are these sort of startup coins? Is it like an entirely new product? Is it something that's already existed? Like, how do you and the Believe team think about what these tokens like are?
Yeah, great question. I think that, there's probably like an unpopular, an unuseful answer, but to me, it's kind of like evolving. We're kind of learning live time, like what these coins are with the community that's building them and trading them. When we first shipped it, I guess the initial thought was like, yeah, it's a meme coin tied to a startup, and I think to some degree it is. But quickly we saw different creators and builders like use their coins to add utility to their product and create kind of harmony between the coin and the product. So that's like a new thing. It's like, there's no kind of comparable, I guess, is like, can you have a coin that's tied to a product success? So I'm not sure what to title it.
Yeah.
It's a product coin. And I think it's evolving, like as the regulatory stuff kind of shifts, it could become something else more than it is right now. We're taking it as it comes and seeing how builders and traders, how they treat the coins.
How are especially behind the scenes, like how are the founders treating them? It's because it's sort of this weird setup where it's like you would think that the coin would be directly attached to like the success of the startup, right? Where it's like, okay, blank startup, increased ARR by X amount and has X more users, therefore the coin goes up, X percentage. But in crypto, it's sort of treated like a separate product. There's like the company and then there's like the coin. Is sort of how these things I feel like have been valued. Like behind the scenes, even how are the founders sort of treating this, and then how are they like evolving with it?
Yeah, I think it's different, case by case. But what we've seen, and like I said, when we initially shipped it, we thought it was essentially an attention coin, and it just like basically is tied to the startup's attention. Yeah. But yeah, to what I was saying before, the integration stuff like started without us, and I think like the key takeaway for us and how we're treating it now is, and it's worth noting, by the way, I think the key thing that Believe has done for the space so far is we've created, net new coin creators. There are people who would have never considered launching a coin with like the kind of existing Launchpads now considering launching a coin. And that's applicable, by the way, to builders, but it's also to like all other types of people. And, there's kind of harmony between Clout and Believe. It is the same idea. Just in particular, right now, we're really deep on builders because I think that's a great place to start. We've shipped like an API, which, is the intention of the API is to create harmony between the coin success and the product success. So, I talked about this on X, but just to kind of give an example is say Instagram launched a coin in some great universe. And say Instagram's most important KPI is new signups, right? You could have, anytime a user, signs up to Instagram, you burn coins from the supply that we've collected for the Instagram coin. So the idea is that because a lot of people like integrate the coin into the product, but some products don't have a logical coin integration, right? For a game or something that has like a built-in point system, coin might make sense, but for other products, it doesn't make sense. And our job is like, how do you build tools for the founders and the creators to basically integrate it into any product? No matter like what you're building, there should be like a logical way to integrate your coin. And that's the intention of the API. But I think that for other types of builders, like, say there's like a musical artist or an influencer, whatever it is, same thing applies. Instead of an API, you just have to give them the tools to basically create harmony between whatever they're trying to promote and the success of that thing and their coin. A big learning in short for me has been like, we have to give the builders and creators the tools to do what the traders want and to enable the harmony between the coin and the success of whatever they're doing.
You touched on it, and I think this is what the edge of Believe has been so far, is that you've brought, between you and Alliance and Imran and definitely Nikita as well, have brought in like new founder liquidity, which is like net new deployers basically that were not deploying before that are now deploying. I think we saw a little bit of this during the AI sort of craze, and we're definitely seeing it now with the Believe ecosystem. Like, how are you convincing people to launch coins? Like, where are you finding these people? Like, who are they, and how do you Like, why are they launching now?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess my view is I think like everyone should launch a coin. Whether you're a builder, an artist, whoever it is, like everyone should do one. It's like a really cool thing to do. And most people, like, I'm sure different like influencers and whatnot have interest in launching a coin. But historically, for various reasons, coins have gotten like a really negative reputation, and it's made people like scared to launch coins. And to me, like, why they got negative reputations? It's like usually the people that are kind of like approaching X influencer or X creator or X builder or whatever it is, they have like sketchy tokenomics that are like all over the place. They're not standardized. Like, there's so many cases of like these internal teams like dumping on the tokens. And overall, it's just like built a really like negative reputation. So I think that, we want to keep things like decentralized and open, but setting like some boundaries and guardrails just leads to like a ecosystem that's safer, and then symptomatically just attracts a whole new type of new type of deployer. So that's kind of like, for me, that's mission number one every day, is like, how can we create this like ecosystem that's safe enough for these creators to be open-minded to shipping a coin. For to date, like, how it's been happening is I think that partially it's because of like me, and like I have a history of building things, and I know a lot of these builders, and they trust me, and they know I'm not gonna like throw them into something terrible. And over time, it's like standardization and just ensuring that we're transparent and continue to kind of have good safety guardrails. But yeah, that would probably be my thoughts.
Why hasn't Nikita launched yet?
Yeah, well, maybe I think that once we have the right system, I hope he does. But that's a good question. We should bring him on and ask him.
We should bring him on. That might be the trenches saving coin. So from that perspective, then on the like outside founders, like what do they want out of this? Is it like money from fees, which obviously probably plays a role? Is it like users on their platform? Is it like some combination of both? Like what's like the dream for one of these non-crypto native founders to come into it and launch?
Yeah, I think so I think that in my opinion, I think VC is somewhat dying, and you've seen it a lot, partially because of all the AI stuff, but essentially engineers are way more efficient. You need way less money to kind of reach a point of scale, and symptomatically, like, you see all these like founders that have like ARR or MRR in their bio, or like this many downloads. That was like not really a thing till like 2 years ago. That's become that's like a growing trend. Right. And I think that's like the new metric versus before it was like money fundraise. We raised 50 mil, like whatever it is. So yeah, I think this is kind of this like new subset of builder that might be building something that can do like tens of millions of revenue, but might not be like a unicorn or a decacorn. And for those types of people, this is like super logical, right? You don't have to like deal with kind of VCs and the potential headache with that. I mean, sometimes VCs are great, don't get me wrong, but sometimes it can be not as fun, and they can kind of retain the freedom, keep building, scaling, and raise capital to do so. And then in addition, anyone who's built something knows how hard it is to like get something off the ground. And the cool thing about launching a coin is you get like an immediate community of believers who are going to like push your product, test your product, provide a lot of feedback. And so that's I think a pretty unique offering, and it's kind of like similar to like something like Product Hunt, except much faster and much more passionate feedback.
Do you think that side of it is working? Because there's always this question of like when you run out of things to like complain about with a project, the final boss of complaining about a crypto project is like, why does this need a token? And you could, go ahead.
No, sorry, you got it.
Well, I was gonna say, like, there's like different ways to look at it. One of them that I think is interesting is like the attention, like marketing flywheel. Like in theory, you launch the coin, people buy it. Once they buy it, they use the product's good, they buy more of it, and then it sort of like spins and spins and spins. It doesn't exactly like play out that way, but I think there's like an interesting angle with this potentially new-ish genre of coins. Like, is that like happening, or is this sort of like a pipe dream?
Yeah, I think it is happening. I mean, it's very much early innings, but what we've seen, read kind of like the API stuff we built and eventually the dashboard for like just normal creators. I think it was Buddy the other day that like integrated our API to introduce like a burning mechanism. I can't remember exactly how it was integrated, but as soon as they integrated the coin's price, certainly responded to that. So that's like a really positive signal. And from the kind of initial data we're seeing from those using the API, like there is some correlation between product success and coin success. More broadly, like, the final thing is like, why should this thing have a coin?
Yeah.
My view is that everything should have a coin. I think that like indirectly, everything like has value. Even this like notion of like coining a social media post, like an influencer who has a social media post is selling that is selling the attention on that post for X amount of money to X brand. So this is like already happening. A coin just kind of simplifies it. So I think that coins for attention should be at any point that anything that does have attention should have a coin.
Yeah.
I guess that's it's kind of do you believe in that view? Yeah, I would believe in that view.
It seems like it's trending that way, one way or another. The Coinit thing, I don't know how it plays out. It feels like this is a sidebar, I guess, but it feels like the Coinit concept, like in a black hole, makes sense, but it sort of is like ignoring who the audience is, which is like they don't really want to trade these things. The majority of them, I think the belief stuff is a little bit different because you want to trade an ecosystem, not like a picture or an idea. And I think
totally
think, like you want to trade a cult leader, right? Like you want to trade a company that's gonna still be here in 6 months. And I think that is why a lot of people have been drawn to your ecosystem. What happens when you run out of friends to launch?
I don't have that many friends. I've long, we ran out of friends to launch, but I only launched like, I don't know the exact number, but I guess like 3 to 5 people that I knew, and the rest kind of like compounded. And the biggest launches we've done are not people I knew. For example, Dupe, Bobby from Dupe. I didn't know Bobby. I had heard of Dupe. I was pumped they launched, but I didn't know him. But yeah, what's gonna happen? I think that there's a lot of interest from founders in launching coins, and I think the momentum has started, and it's going to keep going that way. The key thing that I think needs to happen to like continue to have successful launches, and I've tweeted about this a bit, and probably should tweet about it a lot more, is harmony between like founders and traders. And there's this notion of like a rug, like obviously there's like egregious versions of that where people like are actual scammers, but for the most part, like founders have like positive intentions and they want the coin to be as successful as possible, and they're incentivized for it to be as successful as possible. They just are like so new to crypto and this like culture, and they like need kind of resources from us to just be ready to go. Because it's one thing to launch a coin, it's another thing to actually like successfully launch a coin. And I guess like one way like the community can help, because they're already doing it. Like I see like cool projects on X, and the community will be like, you should launch a coin, et cetera, and that's like great and very helpful. But another way that they can contribute is by making like actual resources of like, hey, this is how you should launch a coin, because it's the same set of questions every time from founders, and we're going to be working on these resources, but there's certainly like MVP V1 resources that the community could contribute.
I think you need to do that as well.
We are,
I think there's this like okay, so I think I made a tweet about this a couple days ago, and I sort of compared Believe ecosystem right now to celebrity meme coins, which has like a really weird stigma. But the parallel was basically that what happened with celebrity meme coins was like there would be some insert random celebrity that would come into the space and they would launch a coin. They would launch a coin because it's the hot thing to do. Everybody else is doing it. They don't really know anything about crypto. They're not crypto native. For the first like 2 or 3 days, they'd be really excited. They would do the spaces. They would, make some tweets about it, tweet the CA. And then basically after that, you have no more catalyst left unless it was like, maybe they came on my stream or came on my podcast. And then it was basically over after that. And then there was no sort of recourse or downside, because it's like, they're not crypto native. Their friends already think crypto sucks. And you kind of just like disappear. And everybody that sold day one like got really rewarded. And what's kind of played out, I think, in V1 of the like Believe ecosystem, because I feel like I've traded basically every single one of these coins. Is the game is like pretty and there's been some fun ones, but the game is like pretty solid from a trader perspective. It's like coin launches, guy tweets a CA, so you realize he's doxxed, cool, the guy's doxxed, gets bid a little higher, he tweets a CA, gets bid a little higher, okay, it's real, the guy's not hacked. Then maybe they go on Spaces, which, I mean, I don't know if future founders are watching this, please stop, no more. Spaces, disaster every time, but it's like a semi-catalyst. And then once the space is over, it's basically all you have left is like, maybe you or Imran or Alliance engages with it, which is like the final sell catalyst, and then the giga like last wall of selling is like Nikita Beer replies, and it's like, oh, this guy's cracked. That's like your last, like you sell the Nikita Beer tweet every single time. And I think the problem, or one of the problems, is basically like not a single trader has been punished yet for like selling when you're supposed to sell in the first couple hours. And it feels like there just hasn't been a founder yet to like go Shaw mode, where you multiple weeks down the line, you implement some flywheel, some Ponzi mechanism, whatever. You get really good at tweeting, you bull post the fuck out of it, you get everybody excited, and you punish the people that sold really early. And it feels like that game is completely unsolved, but no one's been able to crack it. And I'm not sure you guys, even with the launch coin, have been able to crack it yet. And I think this is like the biggest hurdle, where a lot of these people, maybe they're just not crypto native, they don't really know how the game works. Like there hasn't been this like golden founder that like made you feel like if you're not blasting 25 mil with your net worth, like you're gonna miss out on the best trade of all time. Like how do you make that happen?
Yeah, well, first I'll say it's been 4 weeks, I think, since we launched. So it's very early innings, and the API we launched, I think, like less than a week ago. So really early. But I will say, I haven't got the charts in front of me, and I don't know the exact dates. But with Dupe, for example, if you did buy day one and then sell, I think it was like a week or 10 days later that when it like really pumped. So what you said is, perhaps accurate on average, but not entirely accurate. But yeah, to me, it goes back to kind of harmony between product and coin and API, and having these dashboards. And our job, read these like flywheels and stuff. Like our job is to give the creators the tools to like make the flywheels, but they're intentionally like super versatile. There's infinite possibilities for what you could do with it. You can change how many coins are burnt with each action. There's infinite possible actions. So I think founders are going to crack and perhaps they'll all evolve together, but founders are going to crack things that like do work really well. And our job is to give them the tools, and I feel very high conviction that it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it has been early. That's fair. Like it was just like a couple weeks. That's fair. I think I don't like to like field questions, but I like to field sentiment on just like where people are at, like coming into something like this. And I think one of the biggest frustrations people have had with you and the Believe ecosystem is like the communication style. And I think there's just this like standard in crypto where it's like generally, not always the case, but like generally the most successful projects are the more like cult diehard communities, and they sort of form from like the founder that is like really good at articulating the vision and like drilling it in your brain and drilling it again and then drilling it again. And it feels like you're on a like you haven't been fully accessible like up until this point, and you're like sort of juggling a million things, and there's like a lot going on. But like what's sort of the strat on like comms? Do you feel like there is room to improve it and fix it? Because it feels like it's missing. Like I want to hear from Ben Pasternak. Like and even some of these like you dropped the article for builders and what you think they should do and sort of the plan, but it's like I want to see that on Twitter. I want to see that live. I want to see you like play that out in real time. Like what are your thoughts on where the comms are at, and like how do you fix that?
Yeah, I fully agree. It's been like a learning curve for me as well, but in short, I think the kind of build in public approach is like needed. And moving forward, I intend to just like post basically whatever's on my mind. positive or negative. And I think I have to date, I could have been like way better engaging in community and stuff. So it's been a learning curve for me, but I've like the feedback has been received, and I'm just gonna be like posting a lot more and sharing kind of like what I'm seeing, because there's for everything that's public, there's 9 things that are private, and I think it's just kind of opening it up and sharing where we are with product iteration and what we're seeing. In terms of vision, like I think that people do see the vision. I think that people are really excited about ICMs and believe in general. But I totally agree that communication should just be like way better and more frequent. And so feedback received.
I think there's this thing too where like if you tweet like a lot, like you sort of just like there's overdoing it. But if you throw everything out there in public, it's like really hard. Like people kind of take it for what it is. Like it's really hard to like pick things apart or hyperfixate on one
Right.
error or one wording, one verbiage, because there's so much. But when you just like when it's so sporadic, then we'll talk about it, like the flywheel picture. You tweet the picture, and then everyone just like loses their mind speculating and fighting over like what this is for like the next a couple weeks. I guess I have to ask, like, what is the flywheel picture? Like you dropped it, it was hype, chart pumped, like it went viral. What's the picture? Is there a plan behind it? Like clarify that.
Yeah. But by the way, just to align, definitely agree. And I think that, initially I was kind of like engaging with projects that were really early. I had like senior project, I'd be like, oh, this is sick. But it kind of was making me, put a lot of attention on my X account in like an unhealthy way, in the sense that like people were trading based on like what I was engaging with. I think the new protocol is like engage with projects that I think are cool, that have like matured a bit. So that's what I'm definitely going to do moving forward, and just also like want to engage with a bunch of projects that I think are really cool, because I'm seeing all of them. I'm like, wow, a lot of these are really cool, and I've been playing with the projects, and so going to be more public about that. But in terms of the flywheel, the famous flywheel, the image itself was the kind of visual I'd get every time I'd see the word flywheel, so I wanted to share that. But we definitely want to do a flywheel, and I think that a flywheel can be really kind of important in terms of like rewarding people that are kind of acting positively for the community. So I have no doubt that we're going to do one, and we're kind of in the planning stages for what that is. I think that similar to like maybe like Hyperliquid, like there's Hyperliquid focused more on getting the product to work and then introducing a flywheel. So we definitely want to do a flywheel, but a part of the flywheel is the wheel spins, and there's some things to get right before to ensure that it spins really well. So we've been like focused on that, and it's really just like on attracting the best creators and builders. But flywheel is happening, and we have every incentive to make it happen. Like it's and we have ideas of exactly what we're going to do, but probably a bit premature to share them, but certainly the intent. Ooh, I lost your audio.
I was muted. Sorry.
There we go.
I had to ban someone in the chat, so I was like typing really loud. No, that's fair. I'm not sure the details. How like far in advance have you guys sort of planned out like exactly what you want to do and what you want to build? Because it almost from the outside looking in, and maybe this is because of a lack of comms, that there is this element of like there's almost like a smidge of uncertainty, or at least it feels, and this again probably from a lack of comms, where there's so many people spamming do this, do that, and then you're almost like forced to respond like, okay, we'll do this, okay, we'll do that, okay, we'll do that, because you haven't like hammered down to people like this is what we're doing. So then all these people on Twitter are like they feel like they're forced to influence the direction, and then the direction they're forced to influence is like working. Like how do you separate like your vision and what you want to do, and then like listen to the people on Twitter? Yeah.
To me, the vision is really clear, obviously, but to kind of sum it up is it goes to what we we're saying, which is like attracting new deployers. That's like the ultimate mission. The builders, creators, artists, musicians, whatever it is. I guess zooming even further, my story was kind of unique. I'm originally from Australia. When I was building apps as like a teenager, and when I was 15, a VC basically offered me $250,000 to work on whatever I wanted. I dropped out of school, moved to the US and started my first company, which ended up, having tens of millions of users to this day and, has been super amazing. My mission is to give that opportunity to as many people as possible. And tech has like somewhat of a good ecosystem for, going from 0 to 1. But most industries have no, to raise money to like start an album or, build your art, whatever it is. That's not really a thing. So I think that Believe unlocks opportunity. The vision is for Believe to unlock opportunity for as many people as possible. That's the ultimate vision. In terms of like what that means from a product POV, I think we have like, we definitely know the what, as in like what we need to do, but the how is kind of like a live iteration. And like, no matter what you're building, crypto or not, it's like, it takes some kind of like trial and error. And even with some of the kind of like FUD I caused last week by, some of the tweets related to like things were changing, even though it was a bit of a mess, I got that, I learned the outcome that I needed to like make, go to the next iteration. And in short, actually I won't even go into learning there, but the point is, it requires the how and the what is, two different things. So the vision very clear. How we get there is just going to require live iteration, and I think we're headed on the right trajectory there.
Yeah, I agree. Also, 15 is nuts. That's insane. I was like a sophomore in high school.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can, traders and all, we can enable that for, as many people as possible. And I think there was like a 17-year-old who launched the, what was it, the like prank call app? I forgot. I think it's Speechify or something of that nature. Okay. But he's 17, so it's dude, let's get him out of high school. He doesn't need that. He's too smart. And by the way, for a lot of the builders that have launched, like they've like quit their jobs subsequently, and now they're like full time on building their thing. So this is already happening, and it's pretty rare that you get to like build a product that has an immediate positive impact. And this is just the beginning. Like we want to get like thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of creators the opportunity to pursue building their project.
By the way, to your earlier point, I think you almost you should not play God on, which I feel like you've stopped doing on the early launches, on like what's real and what's not. Not like what's real, it's not like what we back and what we don't. You tweeted about that. Totally. But I think you do have an obligation to the ones that are doing like really working and doing well down the line to continue to push those, because those are the ones that generally need just like the little bump over the finish line. So I like that you touched on that.
For sure. And so in addition to that, like, sorry to cut you off, the kind of learning was like, and I had this with Clout, by the way, is that like, curation is like not the answer. It's really hard to say this is good. It's very hard to say this is good. It's much easier to say this is going really well. And then it's also very easy to say this is bad, right? Like when there's a bad actor, it's pretty clear that, someone's a bad actor. So we're going to probably focus more on those two things than the like, this is good. And that's kind of the change we made this past few days. And I think it's been doing pretty well so far.
All right, this is maybe more of a sidebar, but what's the deal with paying out the fees? I have like a couple founders DM me and they're like, dude, you have to, like, where are my fees? Like, please, I'll get a couple, maybe even promise me a cut if they get paid out. Like, what's the deal with the fees?
Yeah. There's kind of like two identified issues, I'd say. So one was like, things blew up really quickly, and there was like, I think like a 8-hour period or something where fee claims weren't working. So we had to like manually reimburse people for that period of time. It affected like some coins, not all coins, but that was like 80%, I'd say, of the FUD. That was like, over a week ago. I think at this point it's definitely been resolved. But symptomatically, it left this kind of like energy in the air of like, is there a problem with fees? But it was really a temporary issue. The other thing is like, probably on the communication front, we can do like way better, because people go to like Deck Screener and they look at like LP rewards, and Deck Screener LP rewards is the accumulation of all LP pools connected to a coin. So they're doing the math based off like this number that actually has like no, it's not tied to reality. So we just have to like better communicate like, hey, this is how you can live calculate. I mean, actually, we should just say, this is these are your rewards. You don't need to do any math. We'll do the math for you.
Do you have to like manually click payout?
No, it's no. There's like an automated fee system and whatnot. It was just, it went down for a period of time, so we had to like kind of manually step in and see what was going
on. Okay, here's another question. I think this is I've seen a couple examples of this. The 50-50 fee split, which honestly is kind of egregious, I think. Because here's the thing, is like from this perspective of crypto and crypto only, I don't know what the closest comp is, but I don't think anything comes even anywhere near 50. And there's been a couple projects I think that have been like, fuck it, we're gonna just like launch on pump, because the foundation is already set, or people are like looking for these ICM type projects, and then why am I gonna give up, you know, this massive amount of fees basically for a tweet? What are your thoughts on that? Like, do you think it's too high? Is it too low? Like, where are you at with that? Why is it justified?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I don't think 50-50 is justified, and we're going to change that. So, you know, that was kind of like the V1, like everything we're doing, it's evolving. I think like the V2 will probably be something more like 70-30, but which is like kind of what the App Store does. So we'll start with that. And the reason like we're kind of, you know, I think that we are entitled to a fee is for the ecosystem that we're going to be providing through the API, you know, the kind of promotion that happens through launching on Believe, et cetera. So I think that definitely makes sense. And just to touch on the pump one, or, you know, I saw one project that switched, I think, from Believe to pump, but they did also subsequently launch a competitive product to Believe. So there's a slight bias there, but I don't think that's a trend. But so the one that I saw, that was the context.
I traded it. Sorry. Sorry. I mean, so I had to, but yeah.
No loyalty.
I agree. You know, I'm trading whatever's hot. But I echo your sentiment on the fees. Okay, here's another one, sort of sidebar, but
Sure.
What do you do about the snipers? And this is generally an unsolved
age-old question.
Yeah, age-old question that's like generally unsolved, but maybe can get better, because I think it's like fairly egregious on Believe, and there's a lot of complaints. Like, I have every person chat ask about snipers. Yeah. What do you do about snipers? Is this a focus of you guys'?
Well, it is, yeah. I mean, it's always, you know, to your point, it's kind of like an infinite issue in the sense that it's a bit of a whack-a-mole, and like we can, you know, only just iterate and make different mechanisms to prevent them. We're shipping the next iteration of that, I believe, today or tomorrow. So we're definitely experimenting with it. I've got like mixed feedback of like how bad snipers are on Believe versus like other platforms, but regardless, our intention is to, you know, be the best on every front. So yeah, we're gonna keep testing mechanisms. The kind of V1 mechanism that you know, we got mixed feedback on was like, you know, a 50% tax on the first few purchases. I think we're probably gonna experiment with like increasing that tax even further to really like prevent the snipers. So we'll see what that does. But then there's also other ideas we've been working on with Meteor, with like rate limiting, where you have, you know, kind of like a max purchase amount for the initial buys. You know, you can increase the market cap. So we're experimenting with all these things. But I'm generally a believer that like the fix to any problem is like pretty simple. And if there isn't a clear answer, you're asking like the wrong question, and it's like more of like a product thing than like a sniper specific thing. But yeah, all right, we're iterating a bunch of that.
It's kind of an unsolved problem. But it's a really annoying
It's definitely like, actually, I don't want to say definitely, but it's not something that's 100% fixable, but we can definitely make it better than it is right now.
You mentioned I already sold it, so I'm not going to say the name, but the competitor Launchpad.
Yeah.
Kobe just kind of like came out of the woodworks and dropped a fucking, I don't know if competitor is the correct word, but we're definitely like sneaking up on similarities there. Like, did you see that? What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I didn't get a good chance to, like, I saw it, but I didn't get a good chance to like look at the mechanics and like what they're doing. I think that in general, you know, there's a lot of excitement about Launchpads, which, you know, makes sense, and there's probably going to be many different competitors. How I would judge a competitor, or how I do it, like as a founder, is first, you know, I take a look at the mechanics and I see, is there any like really smart things here? I haven't had a chance to do that yet with the product you're referencing in particular. But the metric I would look at is like, have they brought new deploys to the space, right? And as far as I'm concerned, no one's done that except us. So, you know, maybe people will. I haven't seen it yet. I hope they do, right? It's better for the space that, you know, there's as many people as possible, like, you know, bringing new deploys. But I think in crypto, something like I've observed, because I've built products in other spaces, is there's a lot of yeah, there's a lot of excitement about narratives, and there's a lot of kind of like idealistic thinking. But at the end of the day, that's the metric, is like new deploys. Are they here? Are they not? Seems like a cool product, but I ain't seeing any new deploys yet.
Yeah, and I
what do you think?
Dude, you know what I think, Ben? Is I think this meta, whatever, for lack of a better word, this meta is something that I have personally wanted to trade for a long time. I like it more than meme coins, and I really want these existing projects to be successful. I like, deep in my heart, I have like a primal urge for these projects to succeed, because I think it's important that these early sort of, you know, guinea pigs that launched make a fuck ton of money. The coin goes really high. The people that believe in it make a lot of money, and the whole thing sort of, for a lack of a better word, creates this flywheel. But I think the toughest part really is that there's basically, like, okay, you know what the toughest part is? From every launch that exists, other than Alex Finn, who I've already known, and Bobby from Dupe, and Avi, because he's tweeting all day, I don't even know, like, I couldn't even name you a single founder. It's like, we talk about them like the projects, not about the founders. Versus AI, it was like, there was these very strong personalities that were like building these crazy cult communities. They were tweeting all day. Like Shaw was tweeting all day. He was running the spaces. He had the Discord. You couldn't fucking get him off your timeline. And I think there still is this like gap of this like, maybe it's cringe crypto terminology, but there's like this gap of this like cult like personality figures that are talking about it all day, and inspiring confidence and evangelizing the community and shilling it on Twitter. And I honestly think the reason they're not doing it is because you're not doing it as hard as you should be. And I think, I think what people, at least me, maybe I'm just people, what we really want is like Ben Pasternak firing tweets on Twitter. Because when you do it, they're good. You spit bangers, you have motion. And I think there's just like a shift waiting to happen that's like, you are not too accessible, but accessible enough where you're on Twitter and you're firing tweets and you're talking about the vision in public, you're iterating in public, you're iterating live, and you're just like, people can point to it and be like, oh, he's still here, he's still working. Because when people, like, there's this weird, maybe it was Malcolm who said it to me, he's like, crypto holders are like puppies. And it's like, when you leave and you don't tweet for like a day, they think you're never coming back. And there's just this like primal thing in your brain where it's like, people like desperately want that. And I think there is a like 180 ecosystem shift where like, if you just like wake up and put your dick on the table and are like, we're doing this thing and I'm talking about it, I'm excited about it, and you're in public firing it all day, it just like trickles down to the other founders. Because like, how can you know, insert blank believe founder like build a cult if you're not doing it?
Totally. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that, you know, in any kind of founder role, the founder has to lead by example. So, you know, I've heard the feedback. The feedback is merged into my brain, and you're going to be getting a lot of @Pasternak tweets moving forward, and Believe app tweets. So, I'm fully aligned, and you know, I'm like here to stay in crypto. Like, you know, with clout, it went to 80 million to 0, and like I could have easily just like walked away and said, oh, that was like an interesting experience, but like I banged my head against the wall for 3-4 months to like figure out how to iterate it and keep it working. I use the exact same coin. You know, the people that held are benefiting today. So I'm here to stay. I hear on the communication I'm going to be way better on that. But you're stuck with me, guys.
I'm waiting for like a 25 tweet day. That's what I'm waiting for, like a 25.
Dude, let's do a 25,000
I'm waiting for a 25 tweet day. I know we gotta go in a second. I got like two more sort of rappers for you to sort of bring it full circle.
Yep.
What? And maybe you already answered this. What do you like? Where is all the dev power focused on right now? Like, how do you like? You got 0 to 1 really fast. It happened really fast. Like it was sort of like you changed the metadata from Pasternak to Launchcoin. It like sat for a little bit. And then it just fucking took off, right? And then now you're sort of at the like, you've jumped up a level, you've like prestige, and now it's like, how do we get from here to like the next level, which is B's? And I mean, what are you guys hyper focused on right now? Like you mentioned this V1 thing, which insinuates there's a V2 potentially. Like, what are you hyper focused on right now?
Yeah, Well, so to be fair, I think like most of the work we have to do is actually not on like an engineering standpoint.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
for sure, we're always like iterating on things, and the team is like, the amount of hours of work being worked is sickening.
Yeah.
But
I believe it.
and the sort of stuff we're building is like, yeah, to your point, we're iterating on the sniper mechanisms. We're introducing new ways to launch. We want to enable in-app launches. We want to enable better, like when you raise money as like a venture capital backed company, you send monthly updates. We want to build up like built-in app updates to the app itself. Basically on all fronts we're iterating, but the core of the product does work, I think. And the kind of greater stuff is really like the education of like turning these founders, because some of these founders are just like really great founders, but they're actually not good cult leaders, and we want to like give them all the resources they need to become great cult leaders. And the way to think about it is like almost like imagine you had a YouTube channel with like 100 different videos. It's like how to integrate your coin into your product, like interview with Bobby from Dupe, like how he did it,
Yes.
how to communicate with your audience, how to set up a Discord, why set up a Discord, like all these different things. We want to just have like infinite resources for founders to consume.
Bro,
So
that's
to me, that's kind
Pasternak
of like
mode.
priority one.
That's going
Dude,
Pasternak
that's what
mode.
we're doing.
That
Yeah.
is what, bro, like, that's Pasternak mode.
Yeah. No, to me, that's the biggest thing. We just need like hours of content that, people don't have to consume all of it, but it needs to be available for them.
Are there any exciting launches coming up that you can share for us, or no way?
I plead the fifth. Yeah, I plead the fifth. But we're working. There's lots of interesting people who have reached out the past few weeks, and I think that a lot of them are teed up to do really cool launches. Yeah.
This is the last thing I want to ask you. Actually, is what is the for the people that don't want to launch? Like, I'm sure you do not have a 100% hit rate. The people that you know
Right.
well that are sick builders, and they're like, dude, no fucking way. Why?
Great question. Yeah. So, Memecoins obviously have like a bad reputation for the reasons we kind of discussed earlier in the situation, but I think that standardization will fix that over time, and creating a healthier ecosystem will do that. I think that people are like scared. They see, obviously the traders can be like aggressive if like the founder is not kind of listening properly or not hearing what they're saying. So that can be kind of like confronting for them. But I think the fix to that is like teeing them up with like all the resources they need. When you raise money like for a startup, say you like use what's called like a safe, which is like a standard investment contract. Y Combinator has all these resources where you like educate yourself about like a safe, and then by the time you're done educating yourself, you feel comfortable, using this contract. Same goes for like making an app on the App Store, right? Like, Apple provides like all these resources that, by the time you're done with them, you feel like pretty confident doing this thing. So to me, education like fixes the problem, but I think that meme coins have like gotten a negative rep, and part of our job is like fixing that, and I think that we can do that. And for me, that's like why I got into the space in the first place. I'm one of the people that is like, oh, meme coins have like a terrible rep. I like don't want to be involved in that. But having gotten close to it through Moonshot and seeing like how powerful it is and everything the traders have built and like this community, and there's so much money. It's a really powerful system. Like, how can we take it to its like next evolution? That's like why I'm here. It's not gonna happen overnight. It's not gonna be easy, but it'll be so cool, right? It'll be so awesome if we can do that.
Okay, this is my actual last question. I swear it's not a setup at the end. I didn't.
No, it's all good.
I should have asked it earlier.
Yeah, you got it.
But you said meme coin a bunch of times. What is your, in the Believe team's view of meme coins launching through your product? Like pure meme coins.
Yeah. So we initially or last week I kind of held the view that like, oh, maybe we don't want to encourage that. We have changed our view on that. We're okay with meme coins launching on Believe, and actually that's kind of a big thing we're working right now is like coin categories. So like I said, we're going beyond just like builders, but like we'll have meme coins, we'll have builder coins, we'll have creator coins. Like, name what I don't know what other things, and perhaps each of those coins require different tokenomics, right? Like perhaps there's like a standard template for all meme coins, perhaps there's a standard template for all builder coins. That's something I'm actually like probably most excited about, because it just makes it easier to categorize these things. The same, you go to the App Store, there's like 18 categories, I think, of like different apps. We want to do the same thing for coins, and it'll be a lot cleaner. It'll be nice.
I love it. Thank you. I didn't mean like it's a sensitive one. I didn't mean like throw it in there at the end, but Ben, thank you, dude. I knew we had 45 minutes, right? 50 minutes and 30 seconds. Is there the worst final sign-off question? I do it every single time, but is there any like final thoughts you want to leave the people with? Anything you want to drop at the end? Anything you want to add that you feel like I should have asked you and I didn't?
Nothing you asked. You think we covered a lot. To me, yeah, like I said, you guys have built such an awesome ecosystem and community, and like let's take it. I don't know how many people are in it now. I think 200 to 400,000 is the number I've heard. Let's take it to like tens of millions of people. That's why I'm here. I want to make it like normal. I want to fix the reputation of these coins, and I want to bring in new deploys. So I need your guys' help. It's gonna be awesome.
Dude, get fucking Nikita Beer to launch a coin.
Okay, I'll get that
him
after
in,
this.
bro. That's what we need. Ben, you're the GOAT, man. Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate the time.